Hello, I am Lise Colucci, and I'm one of the life coaches at queenbeing.com, where it's all about helping you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. And hello to people who are here. Good afternoon. Happy Monday. Today, we're going to talk about self-sabotage. Self-sabotage after narcissistic abuse. Hi, Karina. And what's that all about? Anybody notice ways that they self-sabotage? Or are you even aware that you're doing it? Maybe you don't do it. I don't know. Most of us do. And what's that about? Why is it going on? There's all kinds of reasons why it's going on, but what happens for you? Hello, Angela. Okay, so basically self-sabotage, it creates problems in your daily life, all right? And it interferes with your growth and your goals. That's how you know you're self-sabotaging. If you're doing things in your daily life that are interfering with your growth and your goals, something's going on a level that you can change, you can fix. Okay, but understanding why we're doing it, at least some of the reasons why. I'm not going to be able to cover all the reasons why. And I'm going to be talking about something I figured out this weekend that maybe isn't everyone's truth. Okay, it's my truth. but I think it's important for narcissistic abuse survivors because I believe there is a link here. So I'm going to try my best to talk about this in the most direct way that is not too as if I haven't already formulated it, because I'm still actually kind of figuring this piece out. It's fascinating to me. Okay. Self-sabotage every day. It's a sort of my superpower. Tell me how. Let's go over ways in which you self-sabotage first, and then I'm going to go into what I was talking about. So some of the ways that people self-sabotage, anyone name them, and I'll read from this list here, and then I'll read from your list, and then we'll just keep going. So, before we start, I wanted to say, if you've not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, hit the thumbs up if you enjoy this. And also, if you would like a text notification that I sent but did not appear to arrive yet. So I'll do them earlier. I usually send it 10 minutes before going on. Send a text to the number 33222. Put the words Lise Live, Liselive, and I send a text before I go on. That's the only text you get. So let's keep going. Okay. So ways in which we self-sabotage. Anyone? One thing is thinking that you're wrong and then doing things to prove it. Okay. Another thing is giving up on something that you know you could finish. It's okay to give up if you choose to, but giving up regularly on things, starting and not finishing. The feeling like everything is too hard because you're full of self-doubt. Overspending. Spending beyond your means. Not sleeping. Okay, not eating well, not exercising, not talking when you need to talk, anything like that. Pushing yourself too hard. And that links right back into giving up, right? Pushing yourself so hard that you're exhausted and don't have time for self-care. Not doing any self-care. Doing things like not grooming, not dressing up, not looking nice, whatever, for yourself on purpose. So basically wearing your frumpiest clothes and pulling your hair back or not, and not trying in the grooming department, being late for things, being late for work, being late for appointments, not really cleaning up around after yourself, not taking care of your environment. I mean, walking with a slumped posture, walking with slumped shoulders, listening to other people above your own intuition and your own voice. I can't read my writing there. It looks like I'm saying that. I'm not even going to read that. Okay, I'll read you guys because I can't read my own writing. You don't self-sabotage much, but I wonder if I'm not being able to pick up a career path as a form of self-sabotage. The covert hidden ways of self-sabotage are fascinating, aren't they? Yes, it definitely could be. You'd fall for the gaslight. My dogs are so going to bark today. Everyone's reactionary to every little noise. Guys, shh. No, Ruby, you're okay. Deep depression, fall for the gaslight, remove any friends and family. Okay. Playing out scenarios in my head to protect myself from failure. Right. So setting up a whole pattern in your head that isn't actually happening and believing that it's there. That's a good one. Nikki Ann said hi. You agree with Nikki Ann with hi? Maybe I missed something. Hi, Vicky and Nikki and Nick and Angela and Grace. I'm forgetting to say hello today. Hello, hello. Okay. Your self-sabotage has been getting better, but you still struggle with procrastination. Procrastination, that's another one. So limiting beliefs are huge, huge, huge ways we self-sabotage. They're kind of the core of why we're the way in which we self-sabotage, right? Often, if you are giving up on something, it's because you believe you can't, or because you believe you're going to fail anyway, or it's the limiting beliefs that are buried underneath the things we do that are the things that need to change, right? And we can talk about this forever, so let's talk about more. I can't. Saying I can't, that's a limiting belief, but it's also a very affirming statement that is very negative. I can't. I just can't do it. I can't figure it out. I can't go on. I can't manage this. I can't handle it. What? I can't do that. Go on and on and on with the I can'ts. Everybody's got them, and everyone's legitimately got them. That's the thing. A lot of these beliefs that we have are set up because they're like legitimately been proven over and over again. That is probably what's going to happen, is that there's going to be failure. We have to let go of the fact that failure is a bad thing. Failure is just a path that didn't make it to the completion, and it often leads down trails that are much more interesting anyway. So, but another thing is people, but I would do that, but the buts, right? I would do that, but well, I know that would work, and that's super, super self-sabotaging. If you can change that around to an and, it's I would do that, and it's going to be difficult. It totally changes it, right? But we do this. We do this but kind of thinking that keeps us stuck in a sabotaging pattern of not being able to move forward. So it's kind of about being stuck, and it's about why we sabotage, falling into the patterns of negativity. So you may be feeling really positive and something bad happens and you immediately go into self-sabotaging mode instead of facing the issue with the positive attitude. You face it with a self-sabotaging attitude and down you go, right? Hello, Lori. Hello, Kira. So anything else you guys want to add to ways in which you self-sabotage? Self-actualized. So somebody said this. How did they word it? I worded it wrong here, and I can't think of how they said it better, but it was like self-fulfilling prophecy. That's the one. So setting up situations so that there's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And usually we talk ourselves into that or through it. A lot of this has to do, if you hear what I'm saying, with our beliefs, right? Drinking way too much, self-medicating, right? And that is something we need, that you might want to look at on multiple levels. But the core reason of why you're doing it is to self-medicate, right? It keeps you right where you are and doesn't let you move forward, which is the whole definition of what self-sabotaging is, right? My ex isolated me from the internet and I lost my business. So I am procrastinating on starting another because I'm afraid I'll allow myself to ruin it again. Yes, because we failed once, we will fail forever. That's another belief. Do you hear how these are beliefs? You're going to A tonight. Excellent, Lori. You take care and you keep us in your mind too. We're behind you. Okay, you're not alone, and you can do this. Yes. Okay. So what else? Stacy, hello. How do you get over it? Let's talk about it. Okay, I'm just trying to get as many ideas in there so people feel like, oh, that is self-sabotaging, or maybe that isn't, you know what I mean? Super huge anxiety today, having to deal with moving, which touches on the foundations of security on perilous change. So let's bring it, Stacy, you brought it right back to what I wanted to talk about, which is the why and the how. The why. So it's all about change, right? What are we fearing when we self-sabotage? We're fearing movement. We're fearing growth. What is it? It's fear-based often. It's belief-based because we don't want to fail and have it hurt. We don't want the new experience of a new failure. We want the known failure which is the form we're using to self-sabotage, right? Because that's comfortable, it's easier, it's known, we know how to deal with it, we cope with it. If you get your hopes up, something bad's going to happen anyway, so you might as well just not get your hopes up, right? If you look at it like that, it's kind of, we don't want to live like Eeyore, right? We want to move forward and grow. So it's not your fault. This is a lot to do with programming, is what I am coming to. Grace is saying, I've heard that ego doesn't want the consciousness to grow. Well, that's partially true. However, you can get your ego to help out, I think. And I think the way we get our egos to help out is through shifting perspective and allowing the ego to see how much better life is once the perspective shifts. Okay. My ego has been shattered in some ways by all of these experiences. How to build back a healthy ego without letting it sabotage growth. Oh, you guys are beautiful. You're beautiful. I love you guys. Okay. That is an excellent, excellent question. And that is the question you hold inside of yourself. You have the answer to that. We can just talk about it and find ideas. But that's your path, is what you just described, and it's beautiful. So I fear wasting my effort and getting my hopes up. Yes, I guess it really all comes back to fear of failure. Wow. I think that most of what we do is based on beliefs. We live our lives from the inside out. We live what we believe and we manifest it outward. Yes, life happens also. Things happen out of your control. Things happen. People are horrible. We're not purposely attracting things that are negative into our life, but we can affect some change by shifting perspectives and allowing our beliefs that are not serving our lives to grow some room around them so that there can be something different. Does that make sense? You can't do much when everything is this close, right? You got to get some room around it to be able to have a different perspective. Hi, Jack. So here's what I think happens with narcissistic abuse. And I had an experience. Well, let me see what I can talk about without too much self-disclosure, because it's long and you don't need all that. Anyway, so what I wrote after this experience, because I thought instantly of you guys, and I thought, okay, how can I pass this information along? And it's, like I said, it's still sort of in the formulating stage. So here we go. We serve ourselves well if we can allow our perspectives to shift. If we can allow our perspectives to shift away from self-sabotaging, and the self-sabotaging beliefs, actions, and thoughts, to trusting our ability to discern the influences that we allow in our lives, to discern those influences, which are good, which are bad, which are serving our lives, which are not, and allow the movement and the perspective shift. And the how, the how is a path. Each person's going to have a different how, right? So I think a lot of it, this is like, this is what I love in coaching. This is where NLP comes in really, really, really handy. And I can't do that in a form like this, but what I can tell you is that if you find someone that can do that with you, it's super beneficial for perspective shifting, for seeing what else is there, what else is possible, what else can I discover for myself, about myself, as I view this situation, as I view this belief. Don't know how to explain that except it's experienced. Anyone who's been, and it's, like I said, I guide it for people, so I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to do that, like demonstrate it. But if anyone in here has experienced it, they can tell you. Anyway, so what I think happens is we have been taught not to trust change. We've been taught not to trust change and not to trust the feeling of allowing the change. It feels like manipulation, I believe, for a lot of us. What happens when we're being gaslighted, when there's gaslighting in your life, and when you've been gaslighted from childhood in particular, and when it's pervasive enough to have affected your belief system, when you feel like somebody has changed the core way you believe about the world, or you maybe always felt that way because of the way you were taught to feel, and it's not a very self-positive one, and it's not one that leads you toward growth. Okay. Growth doesn't always mean getting your way and doing the right thing. Sometimes growth means failure. Understand that. Okay. But it doesn't allow for that failure to be handled gracefully and moving on. Does that make sense? So if you are in a situation where you feel like that is true, which you probably are, or you wouldn't be here. In other words, gaslighting has been in your life. So gaslighting sets up a pattern of being manipulated, right? We know that. It is the pattern of taking your beliefs and thoughts and feelings, your truth, and having it twisted into a knot and thrown back at you in a way that was not at all the way you intended it to be, right? We have been manipulated through the gaslighting. We learn as we're healing that means anything that is challenging my belief about what I think and feel inside is a threat. And I could be wrong here, but this was so true to me. I was like, oh my gosh, that is what holds us there. We're afraid because anything that challenges what I know to be true, because I'm super highly intuitive and I know that. And I'm not stupid, and I'm not like, I try to see the big picture. So I'm looking at it at all the angles. I think I know what's going on. And also I can allow for other people, if I trust them, to influence that. But what I can't do is trust myself enough. Well, I can, but what I struggle to do is trust myself enough to allow the change. Does that make sense? If you totally trust someone, if you go to someone who has like succeeded at something and you trust them with that thing, you're going to listen and you're going to allow that change in. You're going to allow the perspective shifts that it takes and the strategy changes that it takes to come in and change. Is this making sense? Or am I just rambling? Because this is really hard to explain. So basically, all of the manipulations have taught us it's not safe to change. But I'm telling you, change is what it's needed, because what's happened is we're now believing the negative. We're now believing the negative limiting beliefs of our life. So I don't know if understanding that, or if I'm explaining this well enough to understand it, if that gives a little perspective change, a little shift in order to soften the grip of that self-sabotage. You're dealing with moving. Okay. Lise, I've been through many abusive times. I recover each time and walk a straight line straight into a different form of abusive person. This last one was on the back of a divorce. I wasn't afraid then. It's not that you're afraid of other people. You're afraid of yourself. We're afraid of making the changes ourselves. This is self-sabotage, not other people's sabotage. This is the beliefs that keep leading us into situations, and the beliefs that keep us from forming new things in our life that we're talking about. So any questions? What else about self-sabotage do you guys want to talk about? That's what I had to say, that in order to gain perspective, we need to let go of the fear of change and the fear that being changed is somehow something that's against us. Does that make sense? And I think, like I said, I think the gaslighting fully sets it up, because we're highly influential when we are open people. It's easy to influence a lot of us. That's not a bad thing. What that means is we can take in impressions from the world around us, and I want to say assimilate it, which is what I mean, and blend it with what we know and believe and think, and have further and deeper understandings of the world. That's kind of how being an empath is. That's what it is. It's the taking in of things around you and having it become part of your own awareness, right? Now, being that easily influenced by someone toxic, you can see how that takes you down the dark road, but then it sets up this pattern that being influenced is bad. And it's not. What it is you got to choose your influence as well, and choose the paths you're taking, and learn to trust yourself so that you become the stronger influence of positivity in your life. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. All right. Anything anyone wants to talk about with self-sabotage? I kind of went off on a philosophical thing here, but not really. But I've heard my inner critic tell me a lot lately that I'm not going to be able to change my life from the way it is now. It's so loud in voicing the disbelief. The more I try, the louder it gets. So see, if I were talking to you and we could talk face to face, what I would ask you is, what is it saying? What, I mean, you know this, you know the answers to this for yourself. What would you rather have it say? And what does it feel like and sound like? And what is it like if you've formed a totally different opinion based on what you'd rather have it say? And then go from there. And then there's like, I don't know, ways to visualize the change that allows you to have some perspective. I don't know, the best way I know for perspective shift is NLP. That's the best way I know, personally. Affirmations help. All the things that people talk about all the time, affirmations, changing that inner voice. When you catch that inner voice and it gets louder and louder, tell it no. I like, it's another one of Clarissa Pinkola Estes. She's talking about when she was writing her books, how her inner critic, her inner fraud police, whatever you want to call it, comes up and tells her she's not very smart and she should not be writing books because no one really wants to read them. I'm sorry, the woman's brilliant, but that's okay. Her inner critic does not think so sometimes. And she's talking about how the voice gets louder and louder every word she writes on, types or whatever. So she just tells it, poof, poof, be gone, she says. And she said in that moment, it's like a giant gust of wind blowing that belief away for just long enough to get another paragraph down. So you see, even for people like her who's brilliant and amazing, and like I would follow anything she said in that regard, like she still fights these things. Okay, people, we all do. So don't expect it to go away. That's what I'm saying. Expect it to get quieter and softer and more in the background. If you can learn the techniques that work for you. That may not work for you, just to say poof, but I liked the story. Every now and then it works for me. For me, I have to see more room around the problem because I see such a big picture. And I don't know, what's your personality type, Grace? Do you know? Those of us who see really big pictures, it can be really difficult because our perspective is already feeling like it's pretty far back and we can see a whole lot of different angles. But the truth is we're missing the room that goes around that perspective to have different viewpoints. You don't know your personality type? Oh, if you ever feel like taking it, I'd be curious. Let's see. On the 16personalities.com, if you ever feel like doing that one, check back in. Let me know if you want. You don't have to. It helps me to police my thoughts. When I catch a negative thought, I think, stop. Yep, exactly what I'm saying. And replace it with a positive affirmation. With enough time, it really works. It does work. It often works not in the way you expect it to. It's either it fades away and you didn't even notice that it faded away, or you have a very loud, I'm really yelling, sorry. You have a very loud negative and a very loud positive, and they just stand there and look at each other. And then you decide to take the positive, right? Sometimes it's just a push-pull inside you. I'm not trusting myself, says Stacy. I've never done this new thing. The closer you get to change, the louder the voice of the narcs get. And that's where reprogramming yourself to hear your own voice versus theirs comes into play, Stacy. And it takes time, and it takes gaining perspective on how those got placed there in the first place and how to disbelieve them. Does that make sense? Sometimes the perspective can be looking at other people as well. You can say, well, there's all these other survivors and a lot of them are doing it, right? A lot of them have made great strides and great changes in their life that to where they are stronger and more secure now than they've ever been because of the way that they have chosen to heal from abuse. And I can do that too. If you tell yourself I can't do that too, then you're going into the I can't thinking, and that I can't is never going to serve you. It's never going to serve you to say I can't unless you truly, truly can't, like maybe flying to the moon with your own arms. I don't know that's possible, but I can't is a big one. And this is too hard. These are these limiting beliefs that they're there to protect you. Understand that all these limiting beliefs are often placed there from other people abusing us, but they're also partially self-protection. Self-sabotage, I think, and self-protection are kind of linked because we're trying to prevent ourselves from further hurting, right? And we're trying to prevent ourselves from a new pain. And so we go to the self-sabotaging behaviors because they have protected us in the past. So saying I can't stops it right now. I can't, I don't have to, you can't make me, goodbye. I'm not doing it. And right then, there's no room for change or growth, right? So if you want the growth, you got to be willing to be uncomfortable and to allow the can. I can, it's possible, or maybe you could try that, but I can't, won't serve. So, and that maybe not what you're talking about, but let's see. Crystal's saying, I'm dealing, well, let's see. Hi, Katrina. Meditating and affirmations. My therapist remind me to thank that inner critic and tell it to shut the F up. I'm the adult here. That's it. Yep. However, whatever works for you, sometimes humor is the best way. Just shut up, voice, or whatever you need. Or some people need gentleness. They need to be coaxed out of it. I'm here. I gotcha. You don't need to be here anymore. Whatever it is, yourself. This is where you learn to trust yourself. You learn what works for you through trying things. If it doesn't work after a week, try a different thing, or stick with it for another week and see if it works, and then try a different thing. All of this healing is self-motivated, self-actualized. It's self-generated. Okay. It's not like I can just tell you to go wrap up in a blue blanket on a Thursday night and you'll feel better. I wish, but nope. We got to do the work that it takes to get there. And I wish there was a different word besides work. It's just evolving, you guys. This is the stuff that grown-ups do. We evolve and we change and we allow the change and we keep going and we don't stop. All right. That's the beautiful thing about evolving. It becomes, I've said this a million times, it can become fun. When I had that, I don't know that I explained the link to gaslighting. I'm going to have to do that again because it's still, the experience was strong from a gaslighting situation that I let happen. No, I don't want to say let. I walked into, and as it was happening, I got lost in it for about 20 minutes. And I fully believed what the person was saying to be true about myself. And because the thing about gaslighting often, okay, this is interesting. The thing about gaslighting often is there's an element of truth. So someone might say, you were never there for me. You're never there for me. And you think, I do your laundry, I cook your meals, blah, blah, blah. And you list all the things. I'm there for you when you're upset after work. You have this list of things and ways in which you are there for them, which are legitimate and real. And in fact, over and above and beyond the call of duty in most cases, right? So you're thinking, you're totally you're projecting and you're gaslighting me because you're telling me what I do isn't what I do. And you're twisting it around, right? But what happens, if you think about it from a narcissist perspective, what they're saying is, you were not there to become the everything I need you to be, which may push your boundaries well beyond what you possibly could do as a human being. It may be things that are completely ridiculous and someone should not be asking of you. So to them, there's the element of their truth. It's twisted, okay? It isn't that your truth is wrong. It's that their truth and your truth are two totally different things. And they're throwing it at you in a gaslighting way because that's the technique they have for shutting you down. So with that in play, okay, with that thought in your mind, when this thing happened and the gaslighting was going on, I fully believed it because I could totally understand everything they were saying as being true. However, if I thought about why it was true, it was totally selfish and ridiculous that I should have had to have met these certain bars in this person's life. And what that made me realize is, oh my gosh, I can't trust the influences. I can't trust influences because this is what happens. And I thought, no, wait a minute. I can trust myself. And you know how I knew I could trust myself in the middle of it? I wrote a note to myself that said, Lise, you need to stay present. And I don't even really remember writing it because I was so lost in the moment. So I can trust myself. So find ways to trust yourself. This is what I'm saying. You find the ways to trust yourself. I've done at least 5 videos so far on self-trust. go back and watch them, ask questions about trust so that I can do more, because I think it's one of the major ways we step up and away from this abuse and away from being in the survivor mentality into thriving is to learn to trust ourselves. So that's all long-winded, but okay. Yes, my 23-year-old son did that to me. I know it's not true, and he was molded by his mom. Yep. Okay. Okay. Bonnie, hello. I'm going back. Missing a bunch of stuff. Okay. Nikki is saying, oh, I think hypnosis is good too, says Bonnie. Listen to it as I'm drifting off to sleep. I think hypnosis is great too, and meditation. I was trying to self-sabotage by not turning on the live stream. And then I said, no, Eric, there you go. You see, and you did it. And so here's what you can learn, Eric, from that. When you do something and you feel yourself not wanting to do the thing, that's good for you, and you do it anyway, and you do the thing anyway, even if the thing doesn't pan out to be as great as you think it was, this may be completely boring to you and you don't know what I'm talking about and whatever, right? But that's okay. You did the action that you needed to take to break through that self-sabotage. You can learn that you can trust yourself a little bit more, that you can do what's right for yourself. Does that make sense? Instead of, if you had not, and when we don't do the thing, it's okay. We didn't do the thing. We're going to do it next time, where we're going to keep moving. We're going to do whatever we're going to do in this moment that's better for our life. So it's trying not to attach to the negative that we're doing in our lives and not believing in the self-sabotaging actions as who we are, and looking toward the ways that we break through the self-sabotage, like by actually turning on the live stream. So there you go. All right. My negative voice and positive voice fought in the beginning, but I stuck with it. And eventually the positive won. I cleaned up 90% of my self-sabotage, but it's still a side hustle procrastination. What in the procrastination, Nikki, do you hear? What are you telling yourself when you're procrastinating? Because I think we all have backdoor excuses for everything. And what I mean by that is it's the place that the self-sabotaging behavior has served your life. Does that make sense? Where did it protect you? And looking at that can open the perspective and shift it. Okay. Okay. Hi, Eric and Angela. Whose birthday is it? Who did I miss? Happy birthday. Whose birthday? Tell me again. I missed it. I can't go back and read it. I'll just be staring at a screen. Whoever's birthday it is, happy birthday. I feel I'm trauma bonded both to the people and situations caused by the people. Yep. We get addicted to the trauma bond cycle, and that becomes our mode of operation. Oh, it's your birthday, Eric. Happy birthday, Eric. Okay. You're allowed to dominate for birthday. We can break for birthday fun. I think at this point I can tell a narcissist from a mile away, but getting rid of the family narcissist in my life is a huge challenge. It is. It's limiting sometimes and reducing the influences that they have on you by trusting your own influences more that you have on yourself. Okay. Reparenting was helpful as well. Yes, it is, because a lot of these patterns and belief systems that set up the self-sabotaging behavior come from childhood. So it absolutely is good to look at reparenting, giving yourself what you need to be able to succeed, right? Trying to read through this. Oh, I hate when that happens. You guys have no idea. Like, I'll be scrolling and then it'll go and go, and everything disappears and I have to find it again over and over. Okay. You're feeling it? Okay. It's a painful transition and into the realization of where you were and becoming a different person altogether, a new positive self, narcissist free. It is, yeah, growth isn't comfortable. It's not, you get growing pains, and it is painful. And it's also sometimes cleansing to allow that to be painful so that you can let it go, right? You're really depressed and down today and trying to numb yourself and isolate. Tell me about it with the birthdays, okay? I feel like okay, just gonna say it. To me, it was a day of everything that has gone wrong, feeling like it's all present at once. Wrong attitude for my birthday, but that's what it is. So, lots of cleansing, lots of walks, lots of self-care, allowing a little bit of attention, do something nice for yourself, and also maybe not make it such a big deal out of it at the same time. Okay. But we're all glad you're here, and we were all glad that you were born. So there you go. Let's see. Go spend 30 minutes to an hour, get some exercise and a big salad and the sleeping pill, and go to sleep. You'll find much better in the morning. I missed what Stacy said that you're replying to, but that's good advice there. Oh, with panic attacks. Yes. Understand, Stacy, if you're having a panic attack. I missed it. I'm not going to scroll back because I will lose my place. But if you're having a panic attack, understand what's happening is that your thoughts and your emotions and your body are all being extremely activated, and they're all way up on the ceiling. Okay. So it's really hard to bring down your emotions. And that's the first place we want to feel better in our emotions. We want to feel like everything's okay. We want a reason to feel okay when we're having a panic attack. But the best way, I think, is through your body, is calming your body, find the symptoms in your body and calm them down. Deep breathing, muscle contracting, use your muscles. Get moving, take a walk. A lot of times we freeze down and we think it's worse to do the things, but it actually helps move it through for most people. Sometimes sitting still and meditating, if movement is too triggering, and then calming your mind. So meditation, deliberately choosing thoughts to think about, pattern interrupt. So looking for, I don't know, if I said 5 green things in the room, I'd laugh because my entire wall is houseplants. But you know what I mean? Like, look for a certain amount of blue items in one room. Do things to take your mind and focus on other things. What that's doing, it seems ridiculous because who cares? It's just distraction. But you're actually telling your nervous system to go from way up here to bring it down into a place of concentration, which is lower. It's calmer. And then your emotions can kind of settle in with it because those 3 things stick together. Okay. Anyway, so breathe, walk, and I like DC Guy. Hello, DC Guy. I like the what you suggested there for the panic attacks. And remember that when you're having anxiety, you're generally pulling the past into the present. Actually, you're pulling the past, you're projecting it into the future, and you're skipping the present. The present moment, most of the time, there is no bear chasing you. Most of the time, it is a thought or an emotion or a feeling from the past. We're drawing forward, projecting it into the future as if it's about to happen and freaking out about it, right? So understanding that can kind of help that right now in this moment, and if you can meditate at all right now in this moment, it's okay. And if it's not, then you're not really having a panic attack. You're reacting to something, right? Let's see. Okay. What am I missing? If I missed anything and you asked a question, can you please re-ask it? Because my scrolling back skills are not doing well today. Okay. Birthdays do bring up a lot of anxiety and confusion. I just decided to accept that that's the case and that it's renewal because the next day is not your birthday. Like somebody said, how you doing today? And I said, it's the next day. It's better. So, then I'm having a natural response to a very abnormal. Yes, you're having yeah, that sounds like it. Okay. Deep wound with the parents. I mean, the loneliness, like knowing they've never loved me. But you can love you. You can love you. And love of toxic people. I know it's you can't reason with that. It just hurts. It just does. You can't reason with it. So you find ways to love yourself and look at the things and people and creatures in your life, like animals and pets and friends and whatever that do love you. And if you really still feel like there's no one, then you love yourself. You love yourself through it. But we're all here and we are all caring about you with love. So there you go. You got all our love today. Okay, what are we saying here? My toxic sister doesn't celebrate, but my mind is trying to pull me into what I do not have, which is very easy if you look around. But you know, yes, I do know there is stuff I have and that I look forward to having, like my dog. Right. I totally get where you're coming from. I just went through this 2 weeks ago. So I get it. It's not fun, I know. But it's also, and just tell you guys don't say but, and I said but. Yeah, it's a different kind of but though. Okay, sorry. Getting silly. It's at 40 minutes, that's why. Okay. You're mated, Crystal Jean. Okay. Is that what you're saying? Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Follow your gut. Your gut always knows what's best for you. If you can figure out which is your gut and which is, that's the trick, right? Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about today? Anything you got coming up? Anything about self-sabotage or otherwise that you guys want to talk about for the next 10, 15 minutes? Hit me up. Ask some questions. Let's chat. And doggies, they want to talk. Every time I ask that, that's when the dog growls. Maybe that's a cue. Maybe I've taught him that. Maybe I need to change my wording so he doesn't do that, or train him to not do that. Love not feeding the narc. Excellent. Okay. Not feeding the narcissistic beast is easier being occupied with me rather than him or us, isn't it? So much easier to occupy yourself with yourself once you're able to get through those trauma bonds a little bit, right? Okay. Whoa, yeah, we've got people talking here. Okay. You feel the oxytocin from the dog? Is that what you're saying? Oh, there goes my dogs, you guys. Hey. Shh. Shh. Hey, guys. Shh. Oswald. That's because the neighbor dog is barking. It's now dog live stream hour here in Oregon. They're going to talk to the dogs across the country, and maybe your dogs will bark too. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Yes, our dogs have the psychic dog energy going through the computer. My dog is telling your dog, hey, Eric's dog, cheer him up. He's feeling bad today. And your dog's like, yeah, I know. Shh, it's all right. I got him. I got his back. Giving him the good old oxytocin pet me thing going on here. Sorry. Okay. All right, guys. What else do you want to talk about today? Hi, Anastasia. I'm coming in at the tail end, but so happy to see anything you have to talk about. We're talking about self-sabotage today, but anything else is up today. Anything you want to talk about this week? Today's Monday, right? Ooh, I made it on a Monday. So we got Tuesday and Thursday and Friday. I think Wednesday's my only skip it day. So anything you want to talk about this week, let me know. Or any ideas that came out of this that you would like further to discuss. Or I'll figure it out and I think Thursday I'm going to try and talk about the enmeshment of a narcissistic mother and narcissist son. Yeah. So, question, Bonnie, Lise, how long does it take to heal on this journey from narcissistic abuse? I don't know, Bonnie. It takes what it takes. It takes. So, okay, here's my thoughts on this. We feel like we're healing for a while until we reach a point where we realize this journey is kind of fun. Not the healing part, but the evolving part, the self-awareness, the learning to raise your emotional intelligence, to have more room between your emotional life and the life you live. Does that make sense? Where we're not guided by these emotions that lead us down these paths. We want to have and feel and experience and have this like big, glorious, sensual, empathic life, and also one that we're guiding, right? So I think that reaches a point where that crosses over. So there is no end. Wow, what was that fluted by? So there is no end to the what we would call healing, but how much time do you put into it? How do you work on yourself? What kind of self-care do you do? Are you speaking to anyone that can help you? It's one thing I love about the groups is that I witness people healing, and to me that's awesome. And most people though say 1 to 2 years. But I don't like putting limits on people, and I'm not here to tell you, you're going to be better in 1 year. I don't know. That's just what most people say. Feeling so permanently damaged, trying to remember, it's not true. It's not true. You are permanently you, and you're inside there trying to see yourself around all the stuff you're calling damage. All right. Find the essential Eric, or whoever you are that feels like you can't find yourself. That's what you're looking for. That's where freedom from all of this is I just don't give a anymore what they think. Right? And you can get there. I'm too perfect. Too perfect. I'm the queen of it these days. Okay, let's see. Oh, it did its jumping thing again. Okay. We are quite resilient. Our resilience is a strength, and it can be what it leads us to the path that I was talking about earlier of the self-sabotage. Allow the resilience to allow change so the sabotaging behaviors can shift. Figure out what you're afraid of with change. Figure out, everyone's going to have a different reason why they're afraid of change. Figure it out. That's sometimes helpful. Let's see. Okay. Angela, applying for jobs. I don't know where to start. I feel like I've been unfocused. I apply to a whole bunch, but when I submit applications, I don't expect to hear back. Well, where do you feel like you're limiting yourself in there? It sounds like you're doing the action that needs to be done, and you're letting go of expectation. I'm not hearing, there is like, do you see the little doggy hair? Sorry, I get sidetracked. Okay. Angela, where in there is the unfocus? Because what I'm hearing is that you have something you want to do, and you're taking action, and you're applying, and then you're letting go of an expectation. But I'm not hearing where the unfocus is. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. I'm going to stop touching it. Then it won't jump. All right. We flatlined for a while, but becoming a new person keeps me moving forward. Yes, it's like continuing education. It is. It's just continuing on your journey, right? Anastasia is saying, can you truly heal when you're still physically trapped with a narcissist? I sometimes feel like I'm not making any progress. When you're physically trapped with a narcissist, self-care is your best thing to learn, I think. Every aspect of your life can include self-care. The way you brush your teeth can include self-care. Doing things without doing them mechanically, like if you're just like brushing your teeth, who cares? This is what I do in the morning, and you're sitting there thinking, oh, my day's so hard, I'm just going to have to do all the, and you're going negative in your head. You're not using the time that you're actually given in your life, which is probably way less than you would like to have for yourself. You're using it to think about other things. So bring your self-care focus into the actions that you do to take care of yourself. Does that make sense? So that you can start feeling like you are an actual whole and healthy human being inside of this life that is toxic. Is that making sense? Okay. We aren't just piles of pulp rocking in a corner. We are trying to get better. That's right. Um, oh, okay. We need to be proud of ourselves for getting out through and trying to get ourselves better. We need to be proud of ourselves even when we can't get out. We just need to learn that we matter. It really is all of it, right? I know Lisa's talked about this. What have I talked about? Uh-oh, it just moved again. Okay. I'm struggling with this today. Um, it seems like feeling scattered is a common theme. It really, really is a common theme. It's part of PTSD. So there you go. Okay, I'm trying to see if there's any questions or anything you guys are wanting me to talk about here. Did I miss, Angela? Did I miss what I asked you a question and did I miss your reply? If I did, can you just re-reply? I think I asked you where the unfocused was. Okay. I think you can still heal even when in close proximity, not easily and definitely doable. You can heal to a degree, absolutely. The trauma bonding and the continual, it's like asking, can you be healthy and be in a war zone? Yes, you can. It's very difficult. And it's always going to have its limits of just how far you can take your health, right? But yes, you can be much more healthy than allowing the narcissist to take you all the way down, right? You can stop having the engaging debates and arguments that the gaslighting sets up. You can gray rock all that. There's ways to protect yourself within it. Ideally, there's short-term ways so that then you get strong enough to get out. I don't know your situation of why you are still needing to be there. So, okay. Okay. You feel shame for spending 30 years getting into them. I need to work on that shame. That's a tricky one, isn't it? Because especially when you're intelligent, because you can see all the ways and the times and the gaps and the days that you should have left, right? Yeah. But it doesn't serve you to have shame. That's a self-sabotaging belief, right? It's keeping you from the next level of wherever you're going with your evolving in yourself. So yeah, it's good that you see it and working on that shame. Should talk about shame. That's okay. Shame. I like it. I'm writing it down. Okay. Shame's a good one. We could talk about shame this week. How's that? All right. Oh, you're feeling immense shame too. Okay. Yeah. I think that's a good one to talk about. Okay. We'll do that this week. Lise, I've been looked over for jobs for a year and I've gotten lazy about it because I anticipate a million reasons it will keep happening. I often wonder when this happens, if you are simply too good for those jobs. I'm wondering if you're not setting your sights high enough on for your own, you know what I'm saying? I don't know you. I don't know what you're doing and what's going on with your life, but I have seen this before where somebody's potential is so great and somebody's purpose in life, to me, I don't know their purpose, but when I work with them and I see the way in which they think and the way in which they are able to express themselves to other people is far, far better than the type of thing they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Not that there's a judgment on what they're choosing to do, but it's more like they're trying to get jobs that just because they feel it's all they deserve, when really it's something better. There's something more that they actually want and are trying to aspire to. So is there something else that you would rather do in your life? I don't know. I'm going with this on a funny direction, but think of it in a positive way. Is there a different route that you would rather take? What would you rather be doing? What do you want to do? Okay. Healthy in a war zone. Yep. Okay. All right. Question. Yes. Validation. Was I wrong to not validate my ex being hugely upset at me for being late on her birthday when I broke my knee and had apologized? Was I wrong to not validate my ex? I don't know what you're asking. Were you wrong to not apologize? I'm not clear. For some reason, I can't wrap my head around what you're asking there, Jack. Was I wrong to not validate? Okay, ask me in a different way because I'm confused what you mean. Um, wow. For shame, I try to remember that I did the best I could with my toolkit at that time. I'm building my toolkit so I can do better in the future. Exactly. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading and it's she was upset and left because I was late for her birthday, but I had broken my knee. So where do you feel you were wrong? Oh, and I had told her. I like how you're explaining it one line at a time for me. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm waiting for what Jack told her. He says, "Ha ha." What did you tell her? Oh, you told her you broke her knee, and why would you be wrong? Because she was upset that you were late? It sounds very unreasonable. It sounds selfish and not considering of anyone's situation. I don't feel like you did anything wrong there for being late. It's amazing with a broken knee you showed up at all, is what I would say. So no, I don't think you're wrong. Okay. All right. And I said, but I broke my knee. I broke my knee. Yeah, it sounds like you know the answer there. You weren't wrong. There was nothing to be wrong about. They were being unreasonable. Okay, anything else? I'm going to end here in just about 3 minutes or less. And this is where I'll take the time to say, I hope this was helpful in some ways. This is self-sabotage is an ever evolving piece of self-work. You're welcome. Happy birthday to you, Eric. You take care of you, no matter what the reasons. Okay. All right. It puzzled you. Why did it puzzle you? If you saw that situation with someone else, would that puzzle you? I'm wondering what you feel about that, Jack, and why. Because that could be a place that you're trapped in people pleasing or something, you know? All right. They don't care if you're hurt. It's always about them. That's right. Okay, my friends. So you're welcome to everyone. If you have not hit subscribe, please do so. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this. And for text notifications, send me a text to the number 33222. Put the words Lise Live in the text, LISELIVE, and I will send you a text notification 10 minutes prior to going on. I don't even know what happened today, but normally it gets sent. So that will happen. And that's it. We'll all see you tomorrow, you guys. I don't know what we'll be talking about. Maybe shame, maybe something else. Shame will be this week some point, and that's it. You guys take care. Bye-bye.